The season 2021-22 is approaching its end. We witnessed a lot of incredible stories, heated derbies and title races. However, we've also seen something we never wanted to see in football. This video, brought to you by Goal24, is about 10 biggest disappointments of this season. Before we start, we'd like you to answer today's question. Luis Suarez hasn't been at his best for a while and hasn't been as prolific as he was before. How many goals has he scored in La Liga this season? 10, 11, 12, 13. Shevchenko's failure at Genoa. The Ukraine national team reached the Euro quarter-final and lost to England, the finalists. Andriy Shevchenko was the coach, the man after the success. After the tournament, he left the national team in order to give it a try on a club level. On November 7, he was appointed head coach at Genoa. And it seems a tough challenge right from the start. The team won only once in 12 matches and was going 17th in Serie A at the moment Shevchenko took over. It seemed a questionable move, but the former Milan striker was up for the challenge. And it didn't really work out well. 4 losses in first 5 games, and the first win came only in a month. It was a cup game against Sampdoria. After that, there was another 4-game winless streak, so no wins in first 9 league games was the club record for Genoa. Ironically, it was AC Milan that drew the line under Shevchenko's Genoa story. Before the game, the AC Milan fans brandished the banner and it said, "This is a long-loved story. That look in Manchester is still in our hearts. Sheva, forever a legend." Unfortunately for Shevchenko, it was yet another loss for Genoa that got him sacked. After some time, it seemed that he wasn't the problem. After he was sacked, Genoa only won twice in 13 matches, so nothing really changed for the club, while that sack simply made the former legend look bad. Bayern losing to Villarreal. Despite having faced the likes of Juventus and Bayern, Villarreal still made it into the Champions League semi-finals. And if it wasn't that unexpected against Juve, winning against Bayern brought an immense delight to all the football world. But even though Villarreal was magnificent, we must also mention Bayern and the way the team performed below all the expectations. They were tipped to reach the latter stages of the tournament and maybe win it, but ultimately Bayern failed to deliver, with only 8 shots on target and 1 goal in 2 games against Villarreal, while the Spanish side held a real defensive masterclass and went through on merit. It may even seem strange to see Bayern being this dominant in the Bundesliga, over 10 points ahead of their rivals, after the 7th team in La Liga managed to give them such a beating. However, there's yet another Bundesliga title for Bayern this season, as the likes of Borussia Dortmund and Leipzig are no match for them, even without Hansi Flick. Now, instead of Flick, there's a young innovator who wins the Bundesliga pretty much unchallenged and gets beaten by a decent team that simply executed their game plan in the Champions League. But anyway, there's been an incredible campaign for Villarreal as they went through 2 big clubs, which is an outstanding achievement for any team in the world. And not to forget about the Liverpool tie in the semi-final, as in the second leg they were really close to making a glorious comeback and surely scared Liverpool fans to death. Hey, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button so as not to miss new releases about football. Legends deceased. However, there's been way bigger disappointments recently, and even tragedies. This season happened to be the last for many of those we know. Gerd Müller was one of them. The great German striker, the nation's bomber, died on August 15. His Bundesliga goal-scoring record has been broken by Robert Lewandowski, however it wasn't enough to win the Ballon d'Or, while Müller did it in 1970. Apart from that, the German won a lot of team trophies back in the days, 4 Bundesliga titles and 3 European Champions Cups. In April, we lost another notable man of football, Mino Raiola. the legendary agent started working with renowned footballers in the 90s, among his clients Bergkamp, Nedved, Ibrahimovic, Verratti, Pogba, and the younger ones Donnarumma and Haaland. You may not like Raiola, but you may have to give him credit as he was probably the most notable of all football agents. No matter how many conflicts he had, no matter what the media wrote about him, he was doing his job perfectly. Not a single one of his clients, be it Nedved or Haaland, never spoke poorly of him. We wouldn't have seen some of the footballers we all know if it were not for Raiola, so his influence should not be overlooked. There's been another tragedy involving Ronaldo. His newborn son passed away. Big clubs from all over the world expressed their condolences to the player and his family, while Ronaldo had to miss a game against Liverpool. And even Man United's fierce rivals expressed their support for the player. They gave Ronaldo a standing ovation while singing their famous anthem, "You'll Never Walk Alone," in the 7th minute of the game. One world, one sport, one global family. Thanks, Anfield. Me and my family will never forget this moment of respect and compassion. These were Ronaldo's words of thanks to the Liverpool fans. Incidents involving footballers. The news concerning footballers and their behavior off the pitch may be shocking at times. Mason Greenwood, the Man United striker for example, was accused of assault and rape against his girlfriend in February. Garrett Robinson, a model, posted her marks of beatings on Instagram as well as the audio of Greenwood forcing her to have sex with him.
Do your fucking legs up!
No, I don't want to have sex!
I don't give a fuck what you want, you shit.
Mason!
Shut up! Talking to me!
There was enough evidence against the player, so big sponsors terminated their contracts with him, while Manchester United deleted all the merch with his last name from the official website. A number of Mason's teammates, including Ronaldo and De Gea, unfollowed him on Instagram. Now we may say that the story pretty much cost the young Englishman his career, as we shouldn't expect him to play for a big club ever again. Another one was Kurt Zouma, and that very video of the West Ham defender mistreating his cat, throwing and then kicking. You can imagine the public response to that. West Ham made a public statement condemning the animal cruelty coming from the player, while thousands of people demanded criminal penalty. However, Zouma got off easy. He wasn't included in the West Ham squad for the following game, and that was pretty much the only sanction. The fans did not forget about the incident though, as they kept making up chants about the Frenchman and the stupid thing he did for quite a time. Lukaku at Chelsea. Romelu Lukaku's return to Chelsea for 115 million euros was one of the most promising signings of that transfer window. Such a hefty fee, as well as the salary of 12 million per year, had an explanation. Lukaku was dominating Serie A last season and led Inter to the league title, so Chelsea were hoping for more of the same at Stamford Bridge. And at first it looked like it was going to happen, but after Lukaku scored 3 goals in 3 Premier League games, a goalless streak started and lasted until December. Tuchel decided to bench Lukaku and play Havertz as a striker instead, a much more technical and mobile player. So Lukaku had little to no playing time in such conditions. Discontent kept growing, and shortly before the new year, the Belgian gave a controversial interview to Sky Sports Italia, which wasn't agreed with Chelsea. "I'm always thinking about Milano, Milano, Milano. Inter fans are the best in the world. I love the city, and the best moment of my career was at Inter. I am in love with Italy. I have Inter in my heart." Obviously, Chelsea fans got appalled with such words, and the player had to face a lot of criticism on social media. Even Tuchel had to speak up. "We don't like it, of course, because it brings noise that we don't need and it is not helpful. We will talk about it behind closed doors." After that, Lukaku was out of the Chelsea squad for the following Premier League match, and it became clear the Belgian has no future at Stamford Bridge. More and more times he was left out on the bench and wasn't in the squad for the crucial match against Real Madrid. It could have been a glorious reunion story, but unfortunately for both Lukaku and Chelsea, it turned out to be a disaster. But maybe not everything is lost and Lukaku will show himself in the next season. What do you think? Barcelona's European campaign. It has been a very rough season for Barcelona. There never was a chance to challenge Real Madrid in La Liga, to be honest. Los Blancos were too far ahead. At the same time, the progress under Xavi is undeniable. But the European campaign without a doubt has been extremely disappointing for the Blaugrana. They were never among the Champions League favorites, but should have at least qualified for the knockout stage. And it looked pretty possible, should we mind the group. Surely finishing ahead of Bayern was an unrealistic task, but Benfica, after all, is not that big a club. Nevertheless, there was a heavy defeat against Benfica away, and then Barca didn't win at home and had no chance but to win against Bayern at Allianz Arena, but ultimately lost 3-0 and ended up in the Europa League. In the second biggest European tournament, it started pretty well. Napoli and Galatasaray didn't cause much trouble, but Eintracht did. Despite being tripped to win Europa League, Barcelona was beaten by the German side. And not only did they lose the tie, but the home game was more like another away game as the German fans got themselves 30,000 tickets and pretty much outshadowed the home crowd. This moral defeat was probably even worse than the 2 relegations. As a result, we can conclude that Xavi's first season as a Barca head coach has brought him no trophies. AGUERO retiring. On July 1, 2021, AGUERO joined Barcelona after 10 years in the Manchester City shirt. The Argentine left his old club as a free agent, and Barca needed a striker, so it looked like a perfect signing. "Of course, it's a step forward in my career," said Sergio. At that moment, neither the board nor the fans could have known what was going to happen, not even the player himself. First, he got a calf injury, so his debut happened as late as in October. However, AGUERO didn't have to wait long for his first goal for Barca, as he found the net in his second game, which was against Real Madrid. But a week later, a life-changing event happened. While playing against Alaves, AGUERO suddenly felt a severe pain in his chest, was subbed off and taken to hospital straight away. He was diagnosed with tachycardia. First, he was expected to be back after a long treatment, though it was going to take months, but then things turned out to be much worse. His condition was too severe to let Sergio play football professionally ever again. It came as a shock for the fans and the player himself. Sergio was 33 years old at the moment and could have kept playing and scoring, just like Modric, Ronaldo and Benzema. Now we can only make guesses about what AGUERO could have achieved at Barcelona. On December 15, in tears, he announced his retirement. That winter day was an incredibly sad one for those who saw AGUERO play, either for Argentina or for Manchester City. Goodbye, legend. Italy not getting qualified for the World Cup. Yet another shock was Italy. We won't see Squadra Azzurra in Qatar. This disappointment is a quite curious one for a number of reasons. First, for the first time Italy will be out for 2 World Cups in a row. And second, the team won the European Championship not so long ago, so the best team in Europe failed to qualify for the World Cup. And what is more, the way they failed to qualify is also worth mentioning. They had a relatively easy group. The toughest opponent was Switzerland, which ultimately finished first. Against Switzerland, Italy was in control in both games, but was really unlucky. Jorginho missed 2 penalties, and the second one, pretty in the 90th minute, was the reason why Italy had to play in the playoffs. The tie against North Macedonia was the epitome of a disaster. Italy was tipped to win that without any significant troubles. Just have a look at the stats. 32 shots, 66% possession, 16 corners. These are some numbers that tell us how dominant Mancini's side was. But there weren't that many shots on the goal, which is the most important thing, so at the end of the game, Trajkovski punished the Italians for being wasteful and broke the hearts of their supporters, and many other football fans too. For now we won't see the strong and bright European champions at the World Cup. Messi at PSG. In August 2021, the unimaginable thing happened. Lionel Messi left Barcelona due to the financial restrictions in La Liga and joined Paris Saint-Germain. The Argentine was named the new team leader at once, the one to lead the club to a long-desired Champions League victory. And few had doubts about Messi dominating League One, but in reality, the 7-time Ballon d'Or winner showed nothing special in League One. While he played way more solid football in the Champions League against stronger sides. 6 goals and 13 assists is a decent result for any ordinary player, but surely not for Messi himself. The Argentine has been extremely wasteful throughout this season. As per Who Scored, he finished only one clear-cut chance in 10, which is the worst number in Europe. However, PSG as a club has been stagnating for a while. They did have a very promising transfer window as Ramos, Wijnaldum and the younger Hakimi and Donnarumma were signed. That looked like one of the best transfer campaigns ever, taking into account the fact that 3 out of 4 players were signed for free. In combination with the Mbappe, Neymar, Messi attacking trio that was meant to bring PSG massive success in all competitions. But the attackers clearly lacked chemistry. Messi took too much time to adapt. Neymar, as usual, was getting one injury after another, and the only one to carry the team in attack was Mbappe. But one Mbappe was not enough. PSG was knocked out of the Champions League in the round of 16. The same thing happened in the French Cup, and the way they were beaten by Real Madrid. The lack of moral strength the team showed is a good indicator of the club's problems. Manchester United in crisis. At the beginning of the season, 4 teams were considered the Premier League favourites: Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester United. The Red Devils spent €140 million on new signings, bringing top players to the club: Ronaldo, Sancho and Varane. But despite the seemingly strong squad, United never had a chance. After a 5-game unbeaten streak, there was a 4-game winless streak as Manchester United lost to Leicester and Liverpool. The heavy defeat against Liverpool pretty much decided Solskjaer's fate. In November, he was sacked. Ole failed to live up the expectations, which were way higher than before. Ralf Rangnick took over, one of the German gegenpressing pioneers. And he didn't really change much, as the team still lacks consistency, still losing to both strong and weaker sides, and now qualifying for the Europa League would be a success. And not forget the 2 Liverpool games. United were beaten 2 times, 9-0 on aggregate. All of a sudden, the United squad turned out to be not that strong. Rashford tailed off, Sancho needed months to make his first goal contribution, Fred was awful in midfield, and Maguire became a meme. Ronaldo and De Gea were pretty much the only 2 players to show quality football, but 2 players is not enough for a top 4 finish in the Premier League. The United fans now place their hopes on Ten Hag, the new head coach. The Dutchman has a lot to do in terms of tactics and the players' mentality, and should he overcome the crisis, that would be a glorious achievement, worthy of the monument by Old Trafford. We've seen many disappointments throughout the season, and we can only hope that we'll see less of it in the future. And what is the worst thing that happened in football for you? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you soon.